Hey, hello, and how's everybody doing? This is just your average schmo, otherwise known as Joe, back once again. Today is Thursday, the day after Hump Day, and it's good, right? Good. One more day, we'll be at Friday, and then the weekend is here. Might be able to actually get some stuff done this weekend. Fingers crossed. Let's hope. But what are we doing today, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked because I'm going to tell you right now. I got a box right here. See, I undid the tape on it already. But this is a comic book mystery box. It's actually two of them in the same box. But yeah, I ordered two of them. I actually ordered them off Amazon, but they're fulfilled by a comic company called Slabbed Issues, based out of Florida. It was $9 each one. And each one is supposed to consist of 10 comics. Now, these comics will probably be from like in the 90s era of comics. So, not real old, but still, I mean, they have a few years on them, right? Of course, some of them might be newer, too. I can't remember exactly what it said in the description of the box, but yeah, $9. I thought, you know what? I'll get like two of them, and we'll take the chance. I'll take the chance so that you will have an idea if you're going to buy one of these mystery boxes from on Amazon by Slabbed Issues. You'll have an idea of what you're going to get, or the types of comics and titles and stuff like that. Obviously, you won't get the exact same thing I do. That would be a little weird. But, yeah, let's dive in, see what we got. Some of these comics, I mean, there's a possibility like all the comics I just might keep. I mean, especially if it's Marvel, DC. Most Marvel and DC I keep. If it's more, if there's independent ones, or if it's more of the obscure, not like the bigger name from DC and Marvel, then there might be ones that I'll get rid of. But we won't know until we actually see what the hell's in there, right? So let's pull out the packing paper. I will keep that. Free packing supplies. Alright, oh, and it's nice. They are both in separate, like, priority mail type bags. So, see if I can get this open. Alright, it feels like they are loose in here. In other words, they're not in, like, with backing boards and bags. That's alright. I think I have some comic book bags somewhere. I don't think I have any backing boards yet. So, I'll have to maybe look at, they're not real expensive, even for like the good ones. Like, you want to make sure they're like acid free and so forth. They're not real expensive, so I'll get me some so I can store these properly. So let's go. Like I said, I don't know. I can't remember exactly whether this was, if it's going to be like all Marvel or all DC or other companies or publishers, or if it's going to be like half and half. I don't know. They probably said it in the description, but I don't remember. All right, first one. We have got a DC Commandi Challenge, number 4, or chapter 4. It says, can you solve it before they do? Nice looking comic. I mean, the artwork, like high gloss pages, the artwork's really good. I've never heard of it though. I don't really have any idea what it is. Um, I mean, I'll probably look through, like, even the comics that I get to, or I'm planning on getting rid of. I'll actually read through them first. Because sometimes you might not recognize comics, you might not recognize the characters, or whatever. But then if you read it, and it's like a really good storyline, and the characters are kind of really fleshed out, you might end up saying, hey, I can kind of get into this character, so you might end up keeping ones that you were thinking about getting rid of, and vice versa. There might be some, even from some of the big names from DC and Marvel, that, certain comics, after I look through them, I might say, you know what, I don't want to keep this one. So, but yeah, so this one, I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to look through it and see what it is. I mean, if it's like a solve it type thing, but this is the fourth one. Obviously there's probably quite a bit that I've missed out on without seeing the first three. But I'll still look through it. Chances are this might not be one that I keep. And with comics, like I said, I got a ton. You saw one of my other videos. I was talking about Cards One. I used to buy these big, like, 10-lot things from them. So I've got, like, a ton of comics that I haven't gone through. So eventually I'll probably do some videos for that. Go through maybe like 20 at a time or something. And kind of go through and kind of weed it down to a little bit. Obviously, like, number ones, any number one I'll keep. Any, like, first appearance of certain characters I'll keep. And then, like, there are other, like, certain storylines and stuff I might keep. But there'll probably be a lot, even of the big name comics, that I'll eventually be getting rid of. And either I'll, depending on what title they are and what, like, the going value is on them, I'll either sell them separately, or I might just put maybe like a grab bag together with like 10 comics in it. But that's down the road. Alright, next. This is from the DC Universe Rebirth line. This is Batgirl in the Birds of Prey, number 3. I still have yet to see the Birds of Prey movie. I keep thinking about it. I'm eventually going to buy it, but every time I think about buying it, then I never get around to doing it. Next, looks like we have another Rebirth. This is Deathstroke, number 5. Pretty cool cover right there. I'm kind of interested to see. I'm hoping that they get some good people behind the helm of the DC movies. And the Flash movie is finally on track, and it looks like it's rolling pretty good. Looks like it's going to have it's almost going to kind of be like the movie that'll kind of usher in this new, well, for lack of a better term, say rebirth of the DC universe in movies. They kind of really, and they actually did it really well. I mean, I myself am a really big fan of the CW DC TV shows. I think they nailed, Arrow, Batgirl, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash. I liked all of them. And I think they nailed it with those shows. Now, if they could translate that, caliber of casting and writing, and all of that, if they could translate that and put that into their movie universe, it'd be great. So let's hope they do that. And like the Flash has got a lot of things, a lot of stuff percolating about it that might look like it's going to open up to where the movies from now on might be a step up. So keep our fingers crossed, right? I would love to see like the DC cinematic universe, for lack of a better term. I don't know exactly what they're calling their stable of movies, but I would love to see it get to where it's kind of on par with the MCU, the Marvel movies, because I love every one of the Marvel movies. Of course, I'm not as nitpicky as some people are with the movies. There's some people that nitpick them to death, and if anything strays from the comics at all, people throw a fit about it. I'm just the opposite. I'd almost rather. I mean, obviously, you want the character to be identifiable in the movie. You want to be able to see that that's who it's supposed to be, and the kind of rules, if you will, as far as their strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that, are still there. And fundamentally, it's the comic book character, but and general storylines are kind of pulled from the comics. But it doesn't. To me, it don't have to match the comics exactly. I'd like that difference, because then it prompts, if you become a big fan of that, it might prompt you to go back and read the comics of that storyline, just because there will be those subtle differences. Whereas if it's exactly the same, there'd be no point in it. Anyway, moving on. Here we have a Green Lantern, number 10, Phantom Lantern, DC Universe Rebirth. So, I'm kind of interested, speaking of Green Lantern, give my piece on the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie. In and of itself, again, I'm not as nitpicky as some. I didn't think it was great, but I didn't think it was absolutely terrible either. I mean, there were parts of it I enjoyed. I think what kind of hurt that movie was, in general, just the storyline. Casting Ryan Reynolds, I think he did an excellent job of not only playing the character prior to that character becoming Green Lantern, but also after he became the Green Lantern, or part of the Green Lantern Corps. I think Ryan Reynolds did an excellent job, but I think, was kind of handicapped a little bit with the storyline of the movie. But I am eager to see that character kind of resurface in the DC universe. Whether it be the TV shows or the movies. A couple of the TV shows did kind of hint at Green Lantern at times and times. They were kind of little Easter eggs that kind of pointed that Green Lantern did exist in that in the CW shows in that universe, or in that multiverse, I should say, because that's where they all kind of culminated together, was the whole multiverse thing. But they never really showed it. They never really brought out a Green Lantern. So I'm hoping they either do it in a TV show or preferably in the movies. Next, we've got Trinity. This looks like it'll be a pretty cool one. Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Trinity. This is number 2. It's really cool cover right there. Wonder Woman kind of first, front and foremost there. Speaking of Wonder Woman, I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on the Wonder Woman 1984 movie. I've heard a few people say that they actually rather enjoyed it. A lot of people, including like the critics, are basically calling it like a total bomb. Of course, I don't really go by critics. Personally, I think the actual the critics, the people that actually get paid to critique movies, I think most of them don't know what the hell they're talking about, honestly. That's just my opinion. So, I'll wait. I'll watch the movie myself. I mean, to a certain extent, I know I'm going to enjoy it, at least somewhat, just because of it being a Wonder Woman in a DC movie, but also, Gal Gadot. Come on. She's like a perfect casting, I think, for that. Alright. Now, we're getting away from the Rebirth here in this one. This is a 0 hour line of comic books. This is Shadow of the Bat, number 31. In this issue, the dynamic duo takes on the battling butler. Kind of reminds me of like the old, that's like kind of character you might see in like the old Batman TV series. They tend to have, they had like the normal roster of villains, the Penguin, Joker, Poison Ivy, and so forth and so on. But they also had some more eclectic kind of villains that weren't really like super villains or weren't powered or anything like that. But that's kind of what that reminds me of. Next, we got a Who's Who. This is March of 1986. So this is an older comic. The pages actually look really good. And looking at them, you might think, well, they look kind of yellow, but no, that's the actual printing around the edge. It's got like a yellow border on it. The actual pages themselves are no off-colored more than what you'd expect from a comic book that came out in 1986. I always enjoyed these comic books. The Who's Who, which is like the DC version, and then Marvel. What was the Marvel version? They had like the Marvel Presents ones, but they had another one that was kind of like this. It was kind of like a little like encyclopedia, if you will, of the different characters and stuff. So this was a good comic book to look at if you wanted to kind of really familiarize yourself with characters and so forth. Alright, next. We've got the Elongated Man, Europe 92, number 1. Nice. I do like getting, the number 1 comic books in really in any, even if it's like a completely, unknown independent comic from like a small publisher. If it's the number 1, I like having the number 1 comics of anything in my collection, because there's always a possibility that property may eventually get picked up and actually become a movie or something like that. And normally when that happens, especially if it turns out really good, then everybody's all of a sudden clamoring because they're trying to find where it's all started, that number 1 comic. Of course, the Elongated Man has actually been, we've already seen him in live action on the CW shows. I think the guy that they had playing him did a really good job. What had my attention there for a second was this ad on the back. LA Guns, what rock and roll was meant to be, Hollywood vampires. So I'm guessing that maybe that is an ad for, at the time, maybe their new album. Do they have an album called Hollywood Vampires? Includes Kiss My Love Goodbye, Some Life for Love, and It's Over Now. LA Guns, a little glam rock there for you. They weren't quite as glam as some like like Poison in the heyday and stuff. But I would still put them in that kind of glam rock. Oh well, this one's cool. I never heard of this before, but it actually looks pretty cool. It's a dollar comic. It's DC. It's a time warp. It's all science fiction. So I'm thinking it's like yeah, it's like little like short stories in comic book format, and they're all like science fiction. That is really cool. I do like my sci-fi. And on the back of that comic, we have a ad for, it looks like a monogram model kit. Those used to be, youngsters might not, model kits are kind of hard to find nowadays. I mean, if you go in your regular stores now, I don't even know whether you actually find any actual model kits like that. I think anymore you either have to go online or you actually have to go to like a hobby style shop to buy them. But I always enjoyed. I can remember being little and wasn't always, because my dad actually put models together, and of course he was always, at times he was kind of particular about certain models he didn't want us kids getting around, because kid hands with a model probably not always a good thing. But there were other times when I can remember actually being able to help him put models together, and always enjoyed it. And especially once it's done. I mean, I always wonder, like, who's the first person to actually like think of that? To act, to come up and make this, to think of making this incredibly detailed, basically like kit out of plastic parts, to where you're basically assembling the vehicle much like they would when they're building the real thing. I mean, who thought of that? What was it? Here's a trivia question for you, because I don't know the answer. Maybe somebody out there does. What was the first model like that? And I'm not just talking like general model, but like when you're talking about like model brands like Monogram or Revell, or like those type of model kits. What was the first one ever produced? I don't have any idea. I would guess it probably came out the first one probably came out in like the 60s or something like that. Because I actually had a couple of model kits that I had gotten probably like 7, 8 years old, somewhere in there, and actually never gotten around to putting them together. My parents and moving and stuff like that. Not only me moving out, but then when they were moving into the place they're at now, they found a bunch of stuff that some stuff was mine, some was my brother's, and of course they said, well, this is yours, and I said, well, yeah, of course, I wanted it. I actually forgot I even had it. And yeah, so model kits that never got around to put together, but I knew I wouldn't have the time to do it now, so I actually sold them. But they were like from like the late 70s. My phone is going off, or I'm hitting it or something. Yeah, just move that off to the side so I quit hitting it. Anyway, moving on, I'm rambling. I do that. We'll pick up the pace a little bit. Here we have one that I never heard of, but it is a number one. It looks like it's a mini series. Says it's suggested for mature readers. Number 1 of 6. It's called Tail Gunner Joe. So, like I said, I'll look through it, but it's not. I wonder why it's suggested for mature readers. All right. So those were all DC. Now it looks like, let me flip these over. Yeah, it looks like the rest of them, like half of them, were actually there's more than 10 comic books in it now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one's had 20 comics in it for $9. Man. So if each of these, yeah, so each of these probably got 20 comics in it. But yeah, so there's 10 DC, so these will be Marvel here. So here we go. The first one we got, X Factor #1, True Believers Mutant Genesis. It's kind of cool. On the back, it's got a full-page ad for a new comic series that was coming out, Secret Empire. And of course, that is the Hydra Captain America. So, I do like my Marvel titles. Next, we have ROM #19. I never really got. I think I actually have a couple of these, or I had a couple of these at one time. Not sure if I still do or not, but I never really got into this title. Yeah, so that'll probably be one that I don't hold on to. Again, like depending on what I could get out of it, I might sell it by itself, or I might bundle it with some other comics and just sell kind of like a grab bag type thing. Next, we have X-Statix versus the Avengers, #25. I've never heard of that, but I'm kind of intrigued. Anything against the Avengers. X-Statix. What the hell is that? It looks like a little like blob or something. Kind of looks like if Slimer had like a like a redneck cousin or something like that, and not dogging rednecks or anything like that. I'm kind of a redneck myself, so don't take offense by that. My mom's side of the family was always a little more country. Nothing wrong with it. But yeah, just just his overall shape. It kind of looks like Slimer, don't it? Just weird looking. With a big X. Yeah, so, might be interesting. Might not be. I don't know. Alright, next. We've got a Daredevil Yellow. Book 6, The Final Bell. So, I'm extremely excited about. I'm hoping there's truth to it. That maybe Marvel and Kevin Feige, is that anyone? John Favreau. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her names right. They kind of listen to the masses because, again, a lot of people liked the Marvel Netflix shows. Outside of Iron Fist, I kind of enjoyed it, but it could have been a lot better. I kind of dig the actor they had playing the character, but the series itself was a little lackluster. But the other ones, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and of course, Daredevil, were great. And Charlie Cox made an excellent Daredevil. So I'm saying it's a rumor right now because I haven't actually seen anything definitive. But supposedly Charlie Cox actually wrapped up shooting in the new Spider-Man movie. So the rumor mill is that he's actually playing Matt Murdock, the lawyer, aka Daredevil, and he's actually defending Spider-Man, Peter Parker, after he was kind of called out, or his identity was shown at the end of Far From Home. But we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be a while before that movie comes out. So, well, let's keep our fingers crossed, right? It'd be great to see those actors that were on those Netflix series actually find their way into the MCU. All right, next we have another #1. Captain Planet and the Planeteers. I've actually heard of this. I don't think I've ever actually read one of these. It's a #1 though, so that's good. All right, next we have a Thunderbolts. #8, Justice Like Lightning. Thunderbolts. I don't think I've ever read any of the Thunderbolts comics. I don't actually recognize any of them. Next, oh, cool. This one got an ad for Captain America Civil War on the back of it. So this must have been after the movie came out, because it said, on your favorite Apple devices. So this was an ad for when it was available on iTunes. So it must have been a couple months after it actually came out in theaters. But the actual comic is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Civil War II. So this is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. #9. I wonder when the Civil War II, I wonder where it kind of falls in with the overall timeline. I mean, I would assume that it's maybe after Endgame or Infinity War, the saga itself. But I don't know for sure. Maybe if you have an idea, comment below. If you know when the Civil War II would feel like. If they were to do a movie of Civil War II, where would it be one that they'd have to kind of work in and be a part of the Infinity Saga, or would it actually take place after that? Of course, you might get the answer by actually just reading the comic book. Next, Guardians of the Galaxy, #13. Oh, this is part of the Civil War II also. Cool. Cool. All right. Next, we have Death of X, #3 of 4. Not exactly sure what that is. I don't really recognize the character. I thought it was Daredevil at first, but it's got to be an X-Men title, because it looks like that's Storm. Younger Storm, maybe, with her mohawk. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting cover, though. And the last one in this one, oh, it's another Civil War II. Nice. We have the New Avengers, #17. That was a Cyclops looking dude. I'm trying to know. I don't recognize, actually, I don't really recognize any of these. That looks like Luke Cage right there, though. Oh, you can see if I get it right here. The guy like holding a big like boulder over his head. I wonder if that's Luke Cage. That might be like Black Lightning, yeah. Wait, no, Black Lightning was that was DC. Was that a DC? Yeah. Yeah, Black Lightning, I'm getting confused. Black Lightning was the other, that's the one CW show I didn't mentioned earlier. But, you know, regardless of the guy on here, it kind of looks like a Black Titan. Yeah, so that'd be cool to check out. Alright. Alright, I'm rambling a little too much. This video is getting long, so we're going to breeze through the second stack here. Alright. Let's see. Okay, we got a Marvel. We have Cable. Number 66. Cable number 66. I think Josh Brolin did an excellent job portraying Cable. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you think Josh Brolin made a good Cable? Here we have Daredevil, The Man Without Fear, number 259. This has got a 75-cent price on it, so this has got to be a little bit older one. You do not find comic books for 75 cents anymore. Not even close. Alright, and here we have, going back in time a little bit, here we have the New Avengers Civil War. Not Civil War 2, but this is the first Civil War. Number 21. It'd be cool to read that and see like how it matches, you know, the movie. If it does. Alright, next. Another Cable. Number... Don't have a number on it. Oh, number 21. It's like he's carrying somebody that's either just been beat to a pulp or they're actually have been killed. Next. Oh, cool. All new Inhumans. Number 9. I don't know a whole lot about the Inhumans. So I'll kind of be eager to... I mean, I watched the... Wasn't there like a short-lived TV series of Inhumans that didn't... I don't even think it went like a full season. But they're actually, you know, they actually have the movie coming out. It looks like it's going to be pretty good. So I'll check that out so I can acquaint myself with the characters. Here we go. Marvel Universe. This is actually what I was talking about earlier, trying to think of earlier. Other than the Marvel Presents comics, this is more of like the encyclopedia type thing. Marvel Universe Update 89. So number 1, it's... the full title is The Official Handbook of the Marvel Universe, and yeah, you can tell looking at this is an order because the pages are yellowed a little bit, but I mean you'd expect that to a certain degree. It's got very small print, like small, like break out the magnifying glass print. See how small? Yeah. Good thing I have like a big magnifying glass thing that I can magnify like a whole page. Next, oh, this is a controversial title right now, right? People are morons. The Punisher. You know, people are actually clamoring for Marvel to discontinue the Punisher name just because these people that... I got nothing wrong with people protesting, whatever it is. You know, that's their right. They would do it sensibly. But, you know, as far as the people that actually illegally traversed into the Capitol, one, they shouldn't have been able to do that to begin with. Okay, somebody was faltering on their job with that. Okay, any other time, if you try to get into the Capitol building, you wouldn't fucking be able to do it. Okay, but you know, somehow they got in, and the ones that were destroying stuff and intimidating people and attacking people, so yeah, I don't condone it at all. It's just fucking stupid. Okay, but because they were wearing what looked like a Punisher logo to try to get rid of them because of that. You know, get rid of the Punisher character and everything because of that. Come on. Really? Look, you put the blame where it belongs, okay? The dumbasses that did what they did. You know, the ones that were attacking people. I don't care what they were wearing. I mean, if they were wearing, like, a certain brand of shoes, are you going to try to boycott the shoes, too? No. It basically comes down to, because people that are ignorant, that know nothing about the Punisher character, all they know is the logo, and they want to look for something more tangible to blame instead of actually putting the blame where it belongs, which is on the people that do something. You know, I think I said this in another video. You see it time and time again. When something happens, they always look for something. Normally in like the entertainment industry, they look for something to blame, whether it's movies or a certain band or a comic book, which the comic book and the character itself has nothing to do with what they did. It's not like there was a comic book out there telling them to go storm the Capitol. And I mean, in particular, the morons are the people that are clamoring for the Punisher to be, you know, it's all to grab headlines. That's all it is. It's just they're trying to be relevant, trying to be in the news, trying to look like they're taking a stand against something, even though they're not taking a stand against the right things. It's just easier if you just pick something basically at random. Because it's not like every person there wasn't wearing a Punisher logo. Okay, so why single it out? Why? Because it's easy. It's easy to do that. All right. Moving on. Next, we have the new Warriors. Looks like kind of like an Avengers type team. I would assume that eventually we'll probably see a new Warriors movie in the MCU. Probably many years, a few phases down the line, but it'll be here eventually. That's number 34. Next, we have a comic called 1602. Is there a video game called 1602? I think I have a game down there called 1602. I wonder if this is what this is. I'll have to look. Maybe I'm thinking of a different. I know I have a game, I think for my PS4, that the title of the game is like a year. And it has like nights and stuff in it. But anyhow, yeah, here we go. This is Neil Gaiman, the writer of this, so probably pretty good. I like Neil Gaiman. Very well known for his Sandman comic books. The Sandman character. Next we have Gambits and the Externals. Number 3. Moving on. Alright, now we're back into DC again. We have a Rebirth from the Rebirth series. We have Panic in the Microverse, Justice League of America, number 13. And then we have a Justice League, number 22. Look at all the green skeletons on that cover. I wonder what that's about. Guess I have to read it and find out, huh? Oh. Cool. Here's another Justice League with, is that Mira? Was that her name? Is that who that's supposed to be? If you know, comment below. If you don't, comment below. And just say, I don't know. Because I'm not real sure either. I'm thinking that might be who it is, but I'll have to look into it and find out. It's a cool cover, though. I like it. Number 24. Next, we have one I have never heard of. So, number 6 of Gotham Academy. Yeah, never heard of that. It almost sounds like it would be like a TV show, doesn't it? Gotham Academy. I kind of miss the Gotham TV show. I think that was really well done. You know, right when it was like really getting into when you were truly diving into young Bruce Wayne, kind of, for lack of a term, blossoming. That's probably not the right word to use, but you know, actually becoming Batman. And then it ends. Wow. Irritating. But overall, still a good series. Next, we've got Justice League of America, number 8, sitting on a big old dinosaur. Next, we have Justice League, number 21. Kind of a cool cover, kind of like a Grim Reaper type thing on there. A lot of the Rebirth comics in here. Alright, next we have a Hal Jordan and Green Lantern Corps. Number 13. Next we have one I've never heard of. I don't even know how to pronounce that for sure. Gamma Rotters? Gamma Rotters. Is it Gamma Rotters or is it Gamma Rotters? Or is it Gam Araders? Probably depends on where you're from. If you're French, you might pronounce it Gamma Araders. I don't know. Just a thought. Yeah, I never heard of that. Doesn't really look that exciting either. They look kind of goofy, to be honest with you. Not to take away from the people that wrote it or drew the characters, but I don't know. They just don't really have that flash of like the other like DC properties. It might be good though. I don't know when I actually take time to read it. Here's another one of those. This is a grudge match one of the Gamma Marauders. This is number 2. The other one was number 3. Got an advertisement for the Bullet Boys on the back of it. And the last one we have is Justice League Europe. Didn't even know there was a Justice League Europe. But then again, I don't collect comics like I used to, so I'm kind of out of the loop on something. Number 14. So you got a big, what is that, a big dinosaur foot getting ready to step on? That would not be pleasant. Like a big Godzilla stepping on your head. Who's excited for the Godzilla vs. Kong movie? I've heard some good things about it. Seen a little snippet here and there. It actually looks like it's been pretty good. Glad to see some of these movies starting to roll out. Although I have to admit, I do like the fact that some of these movies are releasing to where you can just watch them in home. I like that. The most recent one I watched, and I was kind of surprised you didn't actually have to pay like an additional like rental fee or anything. But it was Soul, the new Pixar movie. I was able to watch it with Disney Plus, and it is a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you go see it. I honestly, I'm surprised that the movie theaters chains didn't think of, or maybe they did and they just didn't want to go through the logistics and stuff of it. But it seems to me, even if we weren't in a pandemic, why not use these chains and have them sign deals with all the different like movie studios or distributors, to where when they release these movies in their theaters, they also maybe have their own app. Like Cinemark has an app. AMC could have an app, whatever. And it could be like an actual, like, not necessarily maybe a phone app, because, to be honest with you, I don't think I'd want to watch like a big blockbuster on my phone. It just would kind of detract from the enjoyment of it. But like on your TV, on your smart TVs, they have an app And they could have where you could pay maybe like a slightly higher price than you would normally going to the theater, and that to me that would be reasonable. Say I don't know how much are movie tickets anymore, like $9, $10, something like that. So maybe say maybe it's you pay $15 or even $20, and that might sound high, but if you think about it, if you're having it in your home, you could actually have a couple of people over to all watch it. So paying that a little bit higher price to be able to do that is reasonable, because if you went to the theater, then you'd all be paying for a separate ticket. But yeah, I'm not sure why they never did that. Because I heard, I don't know, there's an AMC, like one of the theater chains is essentially going out of business because of the pandemic. They just lost too much revenue. It would seem to me that would be a good way, especially during times like this, to keep at least some of your revenue up, because then you could have the movie studios could go ahead, as long as they can, as long as the movies are done and they can and film them and stuff like that, obviously. But they could release the movies, and then they could still get essentially a box office revenue from people essentially buying a ticket to watch it in their homes. Because there are a lot of movies that I would love to go to the theater and see. I just don't feel like going to the theater to see them. I mean, now I've got like a 120-inch screen, so right now it's still a far cry from the movie screen, but for my theater room, that's a pretty big size screen. My sound quality, honestly, is just as good as what they have at the theater. My chairs are, honestly, I think they're a little more comfortable than the theater seating. And of course, concessions. You can't beat concessions at home because you don't have to pay for them. I mean, well, technically I pay for them, when I buy them at the store. But I mean, each time I don't have to. If I want to sit there and drink 3 or 4 Cokes during the movie, I don't have to go up and buy 3 or 4 Cokes. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just think, so maybe that's an idea. Maybe to reach out. Maybe we should kind of get that going and help these movie chains out by, why don't they do that? Why don't they just come up with their own like little streaming, or even kind of make a full kind of conjunction. That's what word. Like a 3-way agreement between the movie studios and the movie chain, or the movie theater chain, and then maybe like an established streaming service that's already out there, like Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, whatever it be, to where they can use, paying royalties or whatever, they can adapt and use basically that type of same, essentially streaming engine, if you will, for their apps to show these new release movies in people's homes. Just a thought. Just an idea. Just throwing it out there. But that's it. This video went way too long. So if you have watched to the end, I greatly appreciate it. I know asking you to like the video might be a bit much because it's a long video. But if you did like it, by all means, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll know about the next videos I have coming. And I do have a few that will be coming up. I don't know exactly when, probably over the next week. All depends on when stuff gets here. But that's all I got. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed seeing the comics. I hope you enjoy my goofy ass, at least somewhat. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, stay healthy. Look out for one another. And obviously look out for yourself, so that you'll be in the best of health when my next video pops up on your screen. So, That's all I got. I'm heading downstairs. I'm gonna watch some. I've actually I've been watching the Star Wars: The Clone Wars animated. I'm kind of going through and watching all the Star Wars movies, including the shows, the TV shows, in order. So I go down, watch some of that, relax for a little bit. Tomorrow's Friday. Excited about that. Everybody, take it easy. See ya.